This is a team submitted by one of my Patreons. You can check out the official team submission post on Patreon. I'll leave a link in chat for everyone that's watching live. Right there. Basically, this team right here, it's not a new team, but it's a very original team idea built around Galarian, Zapdos, Regidrago, Scizor. Very, very hyper-aggressive. This is one of my max tier Patreon's teams. And we had a session yesterday where we basically went over and explained all the good and bad things about this team. There's nothing really wrong with this team. It's a great team. EV spreads are good. The idea behind the team was fine. But we talked about like adapting this team from a team that you would say would do very well on ladder, even in like an open team sheet ladder game, but it would struggle in like a best of 3 setting, right? It would struggle winning games like 2 or 3 in a best of 3. This team could beat any team in a best of 1 situation. Open team sheet, closed team sheet, doesn't matter. It has the tools to do that because there's a lot of things you force your opponent to respect. But then like having to mix it up and understanding like what flowcharts and what lead options to deviate from that aren't the optimal best leads can lead to this team kind of coming up short because the thing about this team, its biggest drawback is a lot of its mons are so hyper-focused on the role that they play that there's no backup for Scizor. There's no backup for Bundle. If a team like just says, I'm going to do everything in my power to not lose to Bundle, and they respect the Bundle perfectly, they don't have to really respect, there's nothing else they can capitalize the same way Bundle can. Same thing for the Drago, same thing for the Shenpao and the Zapdos. So what we're going to be doing is taking a look at how I would build this team while still keeping the general idea together. We're going to be going down and breaking down every one of the lead options, and then from there, we're going to be breaking down those lead options and assigning flowcharts to say like, all right, in a game 1 situation, you know, you might want to lead something like a Regidrago Bundle, and that could condition your opponent to over-respecting a very easy to play like AoE special attack based playstyle, which means in game 2, if you win or lose, they're going to be over-respecting those options, and so that's when you would hit them with something like a Scizor Shenpao, right? And then that by the time game 3 rolls around, you can go back to that same Regidrago Bundle spread because they would be, at that point, conditioned into over-respecting Shenpao Scizor. They already know or don't know if Bundle Regidrago works, and there's a bunch of little nuances that go into those sort of things that you can use, but it's basically how to bluff correctly and capitalize and follow through on things that you say. The big thing in like best of 3 situations is showing and telling. You have to show enough to make your opponent have to tell you what they're going to do so that you can actually tell them how it is and take those wins. So that's what we're doing today. It's a little bit of a more like advanced part of the game that I'd say like a lot of people don't really talk about that much. I feel that a lot of the really good players just do this without even thinking about it, but I don't think I've ever like seen a guide or seen anyone really talk about how this sort of stuff works. So yeah, let's go into it. Now remember, this is one of my Patreon's teams, and I already had like a max tier session with them. We kind of went over all the things I would change or do about this team. What we're going to be doing right now is taking the same idea for the team, which is featuring Scizor and Regidrago, which is the mons they wanted to keep, and then taking and adding a couple other mons that could really help this sort of Regidrago Scizor core work more in a best of 3 open team sheet made for best of 3s. Does that sound good? Does that sound fun? Does that sound something like you guys want to see? I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. I will also say that I might go to Pittsburgh Regionals. I might. I'm thinking about it. I'm really thinking about it. I'm finding way more ways to justify Pittsburgh Regionals than to not justify them. Again, if you remember, we have to use Scizor. We have to use Scizor and we have to use Regidrago. Do I think that Scizor and Regidrago are like regionals, tournament winning worthy? No, but they do excel at a few things. First of all, they're very aggressive, right? They can just win the game by themselves. Regidrago can win the game by itself, huge AoE potential, big special attacker. Scizor can really check a lot of the powerful, popular Pokemon right now, like Flutter Mane, like Shenpao, things like that. And they also have both of them have decent matchups for things like Urshifu. I would just say that's important to note. But the bigger deal is not how aggressive they are. It's actually how you can tunnel your opponent into over-respecting them in the team preview because they have very unique things that beat them. Scizor is obviously weak to fire attacks, so it's going to tunnel your opponents that have like good fire attacks, good coverage, good matchup against Scizor. They're going to have to bring those things if they want to beat the Scizor. The Regidrago, you know, if they have like a wide guard user, if they have fairy users, steel users, they're definitely going to want to bring those so they don't lose to Regidrago. So in doing so, remember what we were talking about at the beginning. We can get our opponent to dedicate those resources into over-respecting these Pokemon without actually bringing them to matchups, especially in games 1, game 2, if you've already won game 1 using something else. You don't have to, you know, we were talking about show and tell. You can show, you don't have to tell them what you're doing. You can just show it. And that's enough for them to tell you what they're going to do about it, which means by the time you actually need to use them, you're going to understand more about their EV spreads. Like for example, right? For example, if we are bringing Scizor and like we want to dictate play against our opponents, and maybe they have like a Fire Terra Rillaboom or something like that. What if we just don't bring Scizor the first game? We force them to use their Rillaboom. And what if through playing in game 1, we learn something about that Rillaboom set? Like what if that Rillaboom set, we realize through the course of the game has like a 0 speed reduced? Or what if it like has full like attack speed Rillaboom? That's so weird. We wouldn't have known that, right? If we just went straight up into Scizor and said like, oh, we can U-turn against this. We have a little bit of speed. We can probably U-turn versus a Rillaboom. But now we know that it's a full speed Rillaboom. We wouldn't have known that. We forced them to tell us more about their Rillaboom set without ever actually having to tell them that we know that we want to use Scizor against them, right? So these are things that I think are pretty important when going into like a team preview phase, going into like a best of 3 phase. And Pokemon like Scizor and Regidrago are great at getting our opponent to overcommit, reveal resources, and if you want to surround them with the right passive teammates, you can force them to show what they're going to do first. And are you building this? Yes, I am. Most players think that complex at team review, though. I think it's just trying to counter what you see. Well, that's the thing, is I think realistically, I was talking to the Patreon that I was working on this team with, and you know, they come from like a trading card game background, and I told them like they definitely play VGC like they play trading card games, whereas I play VGC a lot more like chess. I dictate in like trades. So like I trade queens early, I force to trade my Terra for their Terra just to get that mechanic off the board so that we can go into a more standard metagame after. So there's less like RNG involved. That's why you see me build teams that are so hyper focused on getting like a slight advantage and just like trading for the rest of the game until their opponent doesn't have anything left. That's definitely the way that I like to play. But also like, how would I word this? Like going into team review and trying to counter what you see. One thing they were talking about is that they can always like win one game. And so they're going with their thing that they know works in game 1. And you don't actually have to just go with your thing you know works in game 1, right? The goal is to win the set, the third game, right? The goal is to get the win overall, which means if you know you can win, why would you just put all your, if you're playing poker, why would you start by going all in, right? Why would you start by going all in? If anything, you would go all in when your back's to the wall, when you're out of options. So what I think a lot of players do, I think Ashton Cox and James Beck are players that are really, really good at this. And Wolf Glick's also another one if you watch some of their best of 3 content. They play game 1 relatively reserved. If there's like an easy way for them to play game 1 to elongate that game to gather as much information as possible, that's what they're going to do. Yes, they're still going to try and win, but they're not going to go like, okay, this is the lead versus them. This works every time. This is what we need to do. That's not how it works. They go with a play that could work. They go with a very safe play. They go with a play that lets them understand the opponent's team while still giving them potentially a slight advantage. So that's where, you know, we're talking about the ranking of these options. They go with like an A tier lead. Sometimes if they have multiple S tier leads in a team, they can go with like a lower tier S lead, right? But then in game 2, no matter if they won game 1, you don't even have to use your good lead yet. You can go with another one of your S tier or your A tier options and save your known win condition for game 3. If you lost game 1, you might have to go into that auto win option that you might have versus their team, or what your intuition says is your best option a little bit earlier. But what I'm trying to tell you guys is you can save those. And teams like this that tunnel our opponent and bring exactly what we want them to bring, if you flowchart correctly and you practice correctly, like it can work in those situations. So let's go into this. Let's add some more mons to this team. So what would I be adding to this team if I wanted it to do well? What would I add to this team if I wanted it to do well? Some people could say you could add things like Tornadus for speed control. Most people would want to be adding speed control here. I don't think I would want Tornadus in this situation. I think that I would want a little bit more of a reserved teammate that still sets speed control. And I'm going to add 2 mons here that lean into how I would play this team. You know, thank you for the follow. I'm going to add Cresselia. I think Cresselia is the mon that actually fits very well with both these guys. So instead of like on the team, if you saw before, you can see it right here. The Drago that they're using was Scarfed, and I'm not going to say I'm not a fan of Choice Scarf. It's my favorite item in the game, actually. But I'm not a fan of it in Regulation D, especially in like an open team sheet settings. I feel that like not having access to Protect really locks you out of a lot of different flowcharts and locks you into a very specific playstyle, which I don't want to be locked in at all. especially on my mons that like I think are very important. So being able to like weave in a protect here, being able to weave in like a protect over here, and then being able to go for like a lunar blessing in those situations to like recap these mons off, I think that's very important. Especially on mons like Regidrago, where like a lunar blessing can be used to like recap its health and make its dragon energy more powerful. Very, very solid. Very, very solid. And also, like, this protects us from getting, like, sleeped here, getting burned over here, stuff like that. I think it's very, very, very nice. So, that being said, Cresselia is a great partner here. Cresselia also has, like, secondary forms of speed control. It can get, like, Icy Wind, Thunder Wave, Trick Room, Ally Switch, Moonblast. Cresselia is great in this format. I do think Cresselia is my favorite Pokemon in this format. And it's great. A lot of my regional top cuts have all come from Cresselia, so I'm gonna lean into what I know. Now, I'm going to add another Pokemon here, and this is where I want to establish a habit that I have in team building, and that's doubling up on the things you know you want. And so I'm going to be adding a Dragonite here. And the reason I'm going to add Dragonite here and say doubling up on things I know I want, yes, this is adding another weakness to Fairy, this is adding another weakness to Ice. I understand that, but I want to drive it home that I want my opponent to bring the Pokemon that have those damaging moves. If you have an Iron Bundle, I'd like to see it. I'd like you to breed that thing, because if you can bring the bundle, I can get that thing off the board pretty easily based off how I want to play this team. Iron Bundle historically has a not so great matchup versus things like Scizor and Cresselia, depending on how I build them. And so if I'm baiting you into bringing your really, really aggressive mon, same thing, Shenpao. It's good against Regidrago and Dragonite. It's not good against Scizor. And so I want you to bring those things so I can put pressure on you. So I think that like Dragonite does a few things also as well. It also leads very well with Cresselia. We have access to the multi-scale here, so we can go like multi-scale to then recap off our multi-scale with a Protect, Lunar Blessing. But then Dragonite here is going to be our Tailwind setter. And this is where I think a slower, bulkier Tailwind setter can be very, very nice. I'm a big fan of it. I've just been using this Dragonite set for most of the season, and I think it's very, very good. Dragonite forces a lot of respect from opponent. I'm sure you guys can tell where the next Pokemon's going to be. It's going to be Shenpao, just because Shenpao Dragonite is that good. It gives us a S tier lead if we need it, right? This is just something worth respecting. You can always just bust this out game 3. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But it is strong. Now, again, this is a lot of Fairy weakness. And that's deliberate, because we want them to bring their fairies so things like Scizor can work against them. We're probably going to add Iron Head onto this Dragonite. Shenpao ain't no slouch. Cresselia ain't no slouch. A lot of the fairies in the format do still take a lot of damage from these Pokemon. But I think the last Pokemon that I want to add here is one that can solidify and give ourselves a second Pivot Mon. I think Pivot Mons are very, very important. And I think, if you remember correctly, looking at the original team that was submitted, this team has like 1.5 Pivot Mons. And a Pivot Mon is something you can, like when you're pinned, you need to go to another Mon to alleviate that pressure, regain board state. It's easy to do that when you have like Protect in your team, but you can Protect with one, pivot in another one, and then that new one that comes in changes the board state, so then you can pivot out your other guy into something else and then hopefully regain momentum back in the game. This sort of team has way too many aggressive Mons to actually correctly pivot, unless you're resisting damage every single time, so it means you're switching perfectly, you're going to end up taking too much. You know, you usually have like thick Mons like Cresselia be Pivot Mons, but you can't just have Cresselia. Like, for example, I think a lot of people are looking at this team like, you could put Flutter here. If you put Flutter here, you're a little bit too frail. Like, Dragonite doesn't want to pivot and lose his multi-scale. Scizor doesn't want to pivot, and it could, but it's like it's like an off-tank. Drago can't pivot, it'll lose its health for Dragon Energy. Flutter gets O-Code, Shenpao gets its Sash clocked. You can't really use something like a Flutter here. You need a second bulky Mon to make sure that Cress isn't the only pivot. So, and you also want that Mon to be something that things that work against Cress don't work against this Pokemon and vice versa, right? So like I wouldn't want to add like a Bronzong here, because Bronzong has the same weaknesses to like Ghost and Dark that Cresselia does. What I would want to add here is something that has completely different weaknesses that also can be, you know, combined with some of my other Pokemon. So for example, we have weaknesses to like Fire here, Ice here, Ice here. We want to Fire here. We want to have a Mon that we could put in here, that we could put, no, I see, it wouldn't be a Moongus because it's like fire weakness. Now, the answer I chose is Dondozo. Now, do I think that Dondozo without Tatsu is usable? Most definitely. I think that Dondozo is the best Pokemon here, and it makes this team so amazing. Maybe. It's definitely just the first thing that I thought of in this situation, but you can see how on Dondozo, Dondozo actually does a few different things. We can actually change and make this Dondozo set really, really cool. But it gives this team so much more options, right? Now we have, let's just like very briefly, before we even get into the team building part of this, take a look at all the different lead combinations, or at least just some of them. Like we can lead Scizor Drago. We can lead Scizor Crest. We can lead Scizor Dragonite. We can lead Scizor Shenpao. We can lead Scizor Dozo. We can do that with every one of these Pokemon. Dozo, Shenpao, Dozo, Dragonite, Dozo, Crest. There's so many little things, and because we're going to have Protect here, Protect here, Protect here, Protect here, Protect here, we can always weave in damage, mitigate things correctly, go for a Thunder Wave, go for a Yawn, go for a Swords Dance, go for a Tailwind. And it forces your opponent to see all these things in the team preview and think, okay, what do we do? And the cool thing about a team like this is in game one, I can make the exact same, I can lead the exact same lead. I can go, let's say I want to lead Dondozo Cresselia. And in game one, I go Cresselia uses Icy Wind, Dondozo uses Yawn. In game two, I can make the exact same lead. Dozo can protect, make them overcommit on the Yawn, hard switch in, Scizor, mitigate damage, mitigate like a bug attack or an attack into the Crest slot. And then from there, Scizor can like U-turn out, Dozo can go for like a swap out, and like you see how we can weave everything around, but the leads were the same, right? The flowcharts change based off the leads in the different situations. So I think having like Protect on your Mons is the thing that lets you have those outplay potentials, but you have to practice every single situation you could possibly find yourself in. And that just comes from like laddering a lot with your team, practicing a lot with your team, understanding where you're at advantage and disadvantage. Do I think this team is like regional winning, broken levels of busted? No, but I think it's probably good for this exercise. So let's start fleshing out this team and start seeing what we want to do with it. I'll let you guys talk for a minute. You have any questions? Do you have any questions on anything before? I'm going to get a sip of coffee and I'll let you guys ask them questions. I'm finding a lot of Intimidate spam on Ranked. Should I be planning for that at Regionals or just make sure I have good pivots? That's the thing. I think Intimidate only matters if you don't get to do what you want to do if you get intimidated. Does that make sense? Like, just getting intimidated doesn't lose you the game. But, like, if you can get Intimidate cycled to a point... Like, let's say, for example, if you have, like, 4 physical attackers... Yeah, maybe you should do something about that, because, like, an Intimidate cycle just loses you the game. But, like, if you were just like to get intimidated on like your one mon that like you need to get something done with, you can bait that Intimidate and punish with something else. I'd say Intimidate's really good. Intimidate's good against this team. For example, I'll give a little bit of a spoiler. We're going to use Oblivious. Avoids Intimidate, avoids Taunt. Very good. So I think there are, and so like, if Intimidate's giving you problems, I think you can use items to get around that. Things like White Herbs, things like Clear Amulets in a lot of situations. You can also just like see their Intimidate on a lot of mons. Like for example, when I use Landorus, I'm a big fan of Swords Dance Landorus. Like you can think about Intimidate me, I'm gonna Swords Dance, right? You can also go into situations where like, what Intimidate, you also have to think about that. What Intimidate mons are giving you problems, right? If it's Landorus that's giving you problems, just kill it with like a, like, I don't know, Tech and Ice Move or something. You know what I mean? Like, if, like, for example, so there's Landorus, there's Gyarados, there's, people don't really use Salamence, but, like, Shenpao, I mean, so if you're using Shenpao, I mean, yeah, you can use Shenpao if you want to just beat the Landorus or force a Terra. I think that Intimidate is definitely good, but I don't think it warrants. I would say use your items first, and then use your abilities, and then use, like, change your Pokemon to deal with it, but I think realistically Intimidate shouldn't be that big of a deal. Because, like, when they intimidate you, right, other than the first turn of the game, so, like, I would say you shouldn't be leading into getting intimidated if your team is very susceptible to it. You should be, like, saving those physical attackers in the back by giving your opponent at least that much respect. So what I would do is I would save my physical attackers in the back, which means no matter what happens, mid-game, let's say, like, turn 3 or 4, I bring out a physical attacker. If my opponent wants to take a turn to swap out their Mon, bring in their Intimidator, like their Landorus or their Gyarados, that is the same effectiveness as a turn. And if you were to like weigh turns and see like, okay, there's a lot of resources you're dictating to intimidating. Well, if you're going to use a turn to intimidate me and I take that same turn to Swords Dance, that's actually a +1. You know, my name, like that's a +1. That's a +1 for me off something you thought was the right play for you. Now, there's so many other things that go into it with doubles. That's definitely a singles tech. But you kind of see how that works. It's like everything has a cost. Everything. Intimidate, switching it in. You know, they could lose a Pokemon and then send out something Intimidate, and that's actually still a cost, but I would say in some situations less of a cost, because then you're now forced to switch if you're intimidated and you need to not be intimidated. But you see what I mean? There's a cost to everything, and if you weigh that cost and think about a way that you could undermine that cost for yourself or mitigate that cost yourself by maybe using an item that would make yourself like less weak in other situations, like there might be something cool you can get done there. All right, I still need to drink more coffee. Good morning, good morning. Does this all make sense? Like, I feel like people don't normally talk about the intricacies in VGC this way. I know that I normally don't either, but I'm going to have to if I have to do well at Pittsburgh, right? All right. I'm liking this. Cool. Happy to hear it. All right. So let's start building this team. I'm going to build these teams the way that I like to build is I like to get all my moves picked first. I don't need to go into Terras. I don't need to go into abilities. And the reason being for that is you don't really want to lock yourself into saying I have to use this ability or this thing. Hell, there might be a situation where Swarm Scissor is good. I've taken Blaze Charizard to tournaments on Sun teams, and I realized that like I actually didn't want to take the chip damage from Solar Power, so Blaze was still better. Yeah, I think don't need to lock yourself into anything. We just want to list moves that we know that we want. But yeah, so we know that we're going to want Bullet Punch. Right, we know that we're going to want this. We're probably going to also want U-Turn. Right? We can sit on the rest of this. Drago, we know we want Dragon Energy. And I'm probably going to want Earth Power. Now, I'm thinking what I might want in this last spot. There's a few other moves that Drago can get. And this is where, like, the weird tech could come in. Like, Sub might be an option here. Terra Blast might be an option here. Reflect and or Light Screen could definitely be an option here. So we're just going to leave this be for now. We don't need to fill out the rest of the set at this moment. We know we're going to want Lunar Blessing on Cress. I know that I'm going to want Icy Wind on Cress. I like Thunder Wave, but I don't know if Thunder Wave is what this team needs because I feel like Cress is very susceptible to getting taunted. And I feel like an ally switch would actually be better in a lot of situations, but we're going to put the Thunder Wave for now. And if I'm not liking it, at the end of the testing, I'll change it. Dragonite moveset, I already know what I want here. Protect. I'm going to put Iron Head. This is, again, conditioning our opponents to really thinking that they want to go with things like Flutter. This is just a Flutter check. It's good against Garg, too. Garg doesn't seem like it's a problem, but Guard kind of... Guard can be a problem. So I'm going to over-respect it with Iron Head, and then I just put E-Speed. As for Shimpao, I'm a big fan of Protect Shimpao. So Protect Shimpao. I know this seems pretty weird, but like I'm still a huge fan of Sacred Sword on Shimpao. I think a lot of people have cut this move, but I like it a lot. I'm going to go Sucker Punch because I want to tell my opponent a very specific thing about my playstyle. I want to say that we can go for these priority moves. And I'm going to put Ice... Sickle Crash. Put Icicle Crash for this one. And we'll leave it at that. Dondozo. There's two different things I want to do with Dondozo. We definitely want Protect. Definitely want Yawn. Right? I think I want Heavy Slam. And I was really thinking about Bulldoze. I can go Protect here, non-attack here, non-attack here, Protect, Protect. So we can always have speed control on Dozo. But the more I thought about it, I'm just going to put Fisher here. This changes a lot of the flowcharts. To where when your opponent sees this sort of playstyle, they're like, oh, that's the thing that I gotta not get hit by. And in a game 3 situation, sometimes this can be advantageous. Because realistically, you can probably grind out most people with Heavy Slam. But let's see how Fisher does. Because like they never know. That's the thing. They never know. You have this Fisher just to scare them into over-respecting your Dozo. And you never know. The magic might happen. I might go undefeated in regionals. I don't know. I'm not using this team at a regional, but you get the idea. Fisher might just win. It tells the narrative that you want them to respect these things. So, for example, if I have Fisher Dozo, and I'm going into an open Team Sheet Best of 3 tournament, and my opponent has like a team that's kind of like this, there's a good chance they bring both their Flyers, both their Levitators, because they don't want to get hit by that. They don't want to get hit by that. And if we know that they're going to be more prone, especially if we put this at the front of the team preview, to see the Fisher and think like, well, I'm just going to bring a couple flyers just in case that Dozo pops off. We can then leave the Dozo at home and bring our things that have like ice attacks to break their flyers. Right? You get how that's like a conditioning thing. It's bluffing, but it's having something that can capitalize on those bluffs that's still good. You're talking about Life Orb was better than Charcoal and Torkoal a couple of streams back. Why is that? Life Orb gives the damage on your Earth power to be able to OHKO Heatran, and Life Orb's still a stronger item than Charcoal. It's 1.1. It's actually required to KO a few mons. Because the thing is, the Eruption on Torkoal, yes, it's boosted by Sun. It's not super effective on everything. So being able to KO if I were to want to like KO a like Fluttermane or like KO, I mean not like a Regieleki, but just like KO like standard mons, you're not supposed to KO standard mons with like non-super effective moves. Like if we were to think about like a Zapdos, like if I wanted to fight like a regular Zapdos, like Charcoal Eruption doesn't get it, but the Life Orb one does. And a lot of players actually EV train in those situations, in those mons. Like Elandris is another good example. They EV train to live those Charcoal variants, but they don't EV. They basically say anything over Charcoal is not worth it because they'd have to be running Specs, and then they build their teams to punish Specs Torkoal. But then the Life Orb one, they can still protect and do other stuff. That's harder to EV train for. Because you only really need that one Eruption to go off. So that's why I like that. I like the Life Orb. So now that we got our mons, we can start thinking about what other moves we want to do here. I'm going to put Swords Dance here, and realistically, if I'm going to put Swords Dance, I should probably make this Pounce. I'm undecided on if I like this. Do we get Leech Life? That's criminal. Put Pounce. Remember, we have, I don't really like Pounce, though. It's good, but like, I don't know. I'm gonna look at some other moves. Do I want Swords Dance is a question. Swords Dance is a good move. It's great. I just don't know if I need it. What could we put there instead? What if we were to make a Scizor set that had like Technician and have like lefties? And what if we put like, I don't give a Body Press too. I was gonna give it Iron Defense. Let's think about what other sets to do though. Like obviously you could throw super aggressive and go like Close Combat. You can go a bunch of different stuff. You could put Secondary Tailwind on it. Trailblaze, I don't think you need the speed boost on Scizor particularly. Feint is a really solid option. Let's sit on Feint. Actually, I like this a lot. Would that work? Like, that's bad, right? This is bad. We don't do this. This is really bad. Yeah, that's not good. I think you can just go U-turn here. I like the U-turn, but then I don't know if I want Swords Dance. And I don't want to put Feint here. I don't want to put Feint. I don't want to just have Feint. I want to have something else. I actually want to have something that conditions my opponent to protect and waste their turns. So let's see. What's another way? We could always put like Brick Break. I don't want to put like Close Combat either. That's the thing is like, I don't think that you need those options. Terra Blast could work in some situations. SD on Scissors is pretty vital. I don't think so. It depends on how you want to play it, right? It really depends on how you want to play it and what you want to get done with it. Quick Guard could be viable. Aerial Ace? Nah, you don't need Aerial Ace. We don't even know what item we want to use yet. We could put Thief in some situations. We know that we need Protect. I'm thinking about it. What do we want to do with Scizor? Not X Scizor? Well, a Pounce would be stronger, right? So 1.5. It's not stronger, but it's fine. Close Combat. See, Close Combat works, but I don't want Scizor to be that mon. So I'm trying to push a narrative. I'm trying to have Scizor be something that if we use it, I want it to have a very specific role, something that we can force our opponent to over-respect. Brick Break is fine. I don't think that we need to care that much. If you get Intimidate, you won't KO Flutter. That's why I like SD. That's the... no, I think you would still KO Flutter. That's the thing, is it's like, if they're going to Terra away, they're going to Terra away. And so what we want to do in those situations is just protect, wait out their Terra, and punish with Cress. Right? See, could have SD debate taunts. No, I don't want them to taunt the Scizor. I want them to spend resources respecting this Pokemon. So the move that I'm looking for here is something like this. This. Right? Spend their resources over respecting this Pokemon. So if you see the sub in an open team sheet, you're going to be like, I'm not letting that happen. I'm going to hit that Scizor, and then I go protect. We don't need Tailwind. We're using Tailwind on Dragonite. And you don't need two Tailwinders on this team. If I had like Taunt here, I'd think about using it. Helping Hand is another viable option here. I wish we still had Roost. I would put Roost. Yeah, there you go, Roost there. Roost really nice. I kind of like Chesto Resto too. Scary Face is viable. It's hard. It's hard to say what to use in the Scizor. Let's finish out the rest of these guys. We know we have the Dragon Energy. I got an idea. Cool. Reflect here. Light Screen here. Works. That works. That's fucking sick. Dude, let's go. We're gaming. That's nice. And put Moonblast here. Nice. So these are extra moves that we can move around in any situation, but I think it's okay. For now, those are going to fit. All right, so let's think about what items we want to use here. We don't need to go into the items yet. But let's see. I'm going to put Goggles on Crest for this. I think Goggles on Crest works. I think for Dragonite, you don't need the Lum on teams with Crest. We're going to be using lefties on the Dozo. We're using a Sash here. The Dragonite item is very important. Do I want to Rocky Helmet my Dragonite? How pog is that? That is straight up, like, really good. If the Shempow hits the Dragonite, if it's a spinner Shempow, they lose it, which is Iron Head KO them. If Urshi hits it, next turn they die to E-Speed. Cool. Citrus is another option for Dragonite. Goggles. I think the right play here is Dragon Fang, just standard. And then the item for Scizor. I think I'm gonna put Citrus. Solid. Cool. Weakness Policy Dragonite. See, that's too deep. That's too deep. We're playing this in a best of 3 open team sheet situation. So like I think that these sort of options are kind of what we need to do. We're gonna save our Terra for last, and we're gonna start taking a look and make sure all our abilities are right. Cool. And then we're gonna start doing our EVs. So with this Scizor set, we might end up like putting Pounce on here, like putting Pounce instead of U-turn. I think the pivots are gonna be so nice though. Then we gotta think like what we want to outspeed and underspeed, and if, believe it or not, we actually want like a slower Scizor. We want to be as slow as possible on this Scizor actually, to be able to like U-turn and soak damage. So for example, let's go into a damage calculator and plug in like a Rillaboom. And make it like 0 speed Brave. So Rillaboom gets to 81. So we actually need to underspeed that with Scizor. So when they go for U-turn, we get to U-turn and punish them. So we need to be no speedy. But we only need to get to like 81. So we don't even need to be speed reduced at that point. But I'm gonna go even slower. I want to be as slow as possible there, so I can just always know that my U-turn's going big last. And then this still is like slow enough to be able to like light screen in front of like Torkoals and stuff like that. So I like this. So if Lando feels Budget and Sin. Yeah, so like this is also gonna like low key underspeed like Grims and other weird mons, but I think that's fine. It might be beneficial in some situations to still be able to outspeed Grims so we can bullet punch before Reflect goes up, but I think this is okay. And then as for what we want Scizor to do, we were talking about calcing Scizor. Let's see how much damage we do versus Rillaboom. I'm just curious. Not that we should even really have like a shot at fighting Rillaboom, but like let's see how much damage with U-turn. So it's already a decent amount. It's already half. Like, so this is a situation I've talked about before. A lot of people end up doing like 252, but that's still a 2-shot in like every single situation. It's a lot of these mons. So I don't think you need to go 2v2 in a lot of situations. Let's plug in that Flutter. We were talking about like Flutter main and how if you don't get the KO, sorry, if you're intimidated, you lose the KO on Flutter, which like we haven't put the ignition on. There we go. So if we get intimidated there, we could not KO Flutter, but then like you got to think like I don't care what the Flutter does, like even a little bit, and like realistically, I just want to make sure that like our neutral one always KOs like a bulky Flutter if possible. So like that. So we want to make sure that this KOs, and I want to translate that over into seeing how much damage it does versus like a Shenpao. 180, 20, 204. Sorry, 180, 204. Let's just check it. See, you're looking like a 180, 204 defense. And so like any Flutter that has like this spread here, I don't care about their damage output. So even if I don't KO them, I don't care because they can't deal enough damage to like make me care. Right? So like I only care about respecting one that's like 252 HP because it could be still 252 special attack. And so if they want to dedicate like that much bulk 252 into any sort of bulk, they can still go full. But the moment they start taking points out of special attack, the more like I don't care because that wouldn't ever be able to break Dozo, right? That wouldn't ever be able to like break this Dragonite or break this Crest or break this Scizor. Scizor can just hit it twice. That's just my opinion. But back to what our calcs were. I want to see how much we do for Shenpao. I want to be able to always break Shenpao Sash or one-shot Shenpao with Bullet Punch. So you see we need a little bit more. How much do we need? U-turn always KOs it after a Life Orb tick, which like that's low-key fine. I'm like actually like signed up for that. I don't think I want to put any more attack into the Scizor. I think this is fine. I'm fine with 84 Adamant. It always takes out the Shenpao after Orb, which means I can go U-turn or do whatever, and like 2 Bullet Punch to do it. A U-turn after like a Rocky Helmet tick on my Dragonite, any sort of chip, they're good. They're gone. So that's good with me. And then we can put the rest of these stats in bulk. And so thinking about, we don't have Intimidators on this team, but we do have Light Screens. That means we can actually put like a good amount into defense. But then we got to think like, what are we trying to block attacks from? I'm probably gonna let you guys know. I'm gonna sit on Water for now to block Urshi Water. But I also want to think like, what else am I gonna like mitigate damage from? And so let's think about some like big physical mons in the format. Let's just plug in Urshifu. Oh, we have a Shenpao here. Might as well just do it, right? Let's just see like what damage Shenpao does with like Sucker Punch. Or Throat Chop. Just plug in Throat Chop. And so Throat Chop does a lot. We're gonna have 252 here. We always want to keep this out of that range. So we want to always be able to make that a 3-shot. If we can. Cool. So 156. That's good enough for a reason for me. And then we have extra points. And so, like, realistically, I'll just do it right there. Screw Spit F. I don't care. We have Light Screen for that, you know? We don't want to waste the points. We don't want to put them in speed, right? So, this is the Scizor set that we're going to go for the testing. Regidrago. Bit of a weirder mon. Realistically, Regidrago only needs to get this fast to be able to be outspeeding base 100s after an Icy Wind. That being said, Regidrago could be built like a full speed set, but I'm not the biggest fan of that. I'm really not. Like, I think that I would be using Regidrago much more as like a checkmate piece, much more like a Goldango, to where like I'd want to be really bulky and be able to punish things correctly. I don't even know if I want to go full special attack on it. Steel Terra on Drago? I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to go Steel Terra on it. I don't think that that's the play because I don't want that ground weakness and I don't want that fighting weakness more specifically. So let's think about what we want to do. Good thing about Drago is it has a humongous base HP. We very rarely have to go like HP investment on this guy. You can actually like get away with putting like a lot of points in like defense and SPDF and summon and special attack. So we're probably still going to be modest in like any situation, right? But then I want to see how much damage we deal to like something like a Heatran. Reggie Drago. Going against like Heatran. I'd like this to always be a 2-shot against like Heatran that we force the Terra. So we can always just grind out Heatran correctly. So like let's just look like a 2v2 HP Heatran, plug in like Earth Power over here. So it's always a 2-shot, no investment, we don't have to care. Against a full HP Heatran. Let's see how much it would take for us to Oko Heatran. So 2-7, sorry, that right there. That could almost KO Heatran. If I wanted to change my item to something like a Life Orb, we could always KO Sweeper Heatran with Earth Power. And I think that would be so nice. We could take so many points out and still KO that Heatran. That is absolutely ridiculous. Which means maybe we just make this a Life Orb. Right? And that means maybe we just make ourselves outspeed Heatran. And we're just like a low-key Heatran check because our team's kind of weak to Heatran. So Heatran's 77, which means the fastest Heatran could be in any sort of situation is this fast, 141. Which means we would not have to be, we wouldn't be modest, but I don't think Heatran's running full speed. I think Heatrans usually only run about like 60. I'm going to say 84 is the number that they would run. So I'd want to get to 121. And the reason we want to get to 121 is because that's going to let us outspeed things like, it's going to let us outspeed things like Mousehold, like Tornadus, like Thunderous, and things like that. So 179, you can see I'm talking about like at a +1 from something like a, basically a -1 on like an Icy Wind or something from them. This also lets us outspeed Lycanroc by 1 point. So 164, it's a good set. 164, 164, 252 big damage. And then as far as like EVs, like I don't know if I'm going to put this in here so we take 1 less point every time. I don't even think I need it. I'm going to throw the rest into, I think, defense on Drago. But maybe SPDF? It's kind of hard to say. It doesn't really matter where I want to put this. I'm going to put it into defense because I think that Reggie Drago is a better pivot for hands than people give it credit for. And we're going to see if that works. As for the Cresselia, how do I want to make Cresselia work? It's hard to say, right? I think the Cresselia can definitely still go 2v2. You want to put at least 12 points in here to be able to outspeed things like Dragapult, but we're going to go even further and go 28 because I actually really like a faster Crest. And I want my Crest to always... that's actually a hard situation. Like, I want my Crest to be able to outspeed Drago, to be able to wake it up if I need, but it's fine. Don't need it. And then, what do we want Crest to live? We're not using Rocky Helmet Crest. We don't have Intimidate, but we have, like, Multi-Scale Dragonite to be able to swap in. We have Dozo to be able to swap in on the physical side. So that means we want Crest to be more of a special Pokemon. And so, I'm going to put... You only need 12 points here to KO Urshifu if you want to go like Fairy Terra with a Moonblast into that slot. So we're going to sit on that. That'll let us KO Urshifu. I'm going to sit on this. This is very bulky on the SPDF side. This leans into the fact that we have a higher SPDF, so we're getting a higher return on our nature, and we're just going to be very special bulk on this guy. I think when doing these calls for EV spreads, people should take note of attack, defense, and speed tiers as takeaways. What does it knock out? What does it survive? What does it outspeed? Naturally in Tailwind TR. I mean, I could probably go a little bit more in depth too, but like this usually just works for me, and I'm a fan of like having something that works because like, all right, we talked about this bullying Heatran and outspeeding things like Heatran, right? But then in turn it goes into outspeeding a bunch of the mons that we need to outspeed in Tailwind and or Icy Wind factored in. But then like also we're giving ourselves just like a little bit more bulk, This 9 here is to make it so we take less damage from Life Orb, but I think this is like a pretty decent EV spread, and there's obviously so much optimization to be done. This is just a rough draft, but I think this definitely works. As for Dragonite, you don't need a ton of speed on Dragonite. I really don't think that you do. I'm going to put this much. So in Tailwind, I can now outspeed Dragapult. If I want to go protect Tailwind so I can start Iron Head in the Pult, I can. That's literally what this does. As far as like the rest of this Dragonite, there's usually not an issue with going something like heavy investment. I'm going to probably just go full attack. Going full crazy mode, and then we're just going to do this. I'm actually completely okay with this just for the testing. I want to be able to hit hard with my E-Speed. This is obviously going to be normal Terra if we want to use it. And it's mostly a standard Shampoo Dragonite, but like we have the Rocky Helmet. I'm not a big fan of the Choice Band sets. Shampoo, click the button. Easy peasy button click. Dozo's a bit of a weird one. What do I want this Dozo to do? Do I want Dozo to outspeed anything? Do I want Dozo to underspeed things? It's probably better that it underspeeds things, but like, yeah, let's make it underspeed things. So I can underspeed things like hands in Trick Room. So this is kind of like also a Trick Room answer. Like if they want to go Trick Room, I just bring in the Dozo and be like, where are you looking, bro? And then what we want to do with Dozo is make sure that it can KO Flutter. And we don't have to worry about Intimidate because we're Oblivious. All right, so Don Dozo. So we need just enough attack to make sure we don't have to care about Flutter Mane. With Heavy Slam. Right, so that just KOs. Straight up. I don't need a single point of attack in that. And you could say, well, what if they're bulky? And it's like, okay. We can make that not KO. We can just put ourselves adamant. I don't think we need to. But like, realistically, if I really wanted to... If I saw a bulky Flutter in the team preview, I'd be able to tell mostly from its moveset, probably. I could just add in, like... just protect my Shampoo for a turn. Leave Shampoo on the board, bait the Flutter, and actually staying in and just Heavy Slam it, right? Sombra, how goes it? So, like, I don't think actually we need a single point in attack. Like, we might throw 4 in there because they're extra. And then as for what we want this guy to do, like, just freaking go to the races, boys. It's a huge base over there. We don't need that much defense. That's too much too. So we're gonna sit on something like this. I don't want to waste the points in speed though. Maybe I do want to waste points in speed. Do I want to outspeed their Dozo? Like, I'm fine with 4. They're just extra, right? Right? Yeah. So let's sit on this. Gets a little bit of diminishing turns on Spadef, but like we're big thick on that defensive side. So like I'm completely fine for this for the first testing game, just to see how things might want to work out. We need to think like what Terra is best for Dozo here. Now that we have all the mons done, we can start kind of taking a look at Terras and using Terras to solve for matchups that might be problematic. So Terras, I always think they're the last thing you should do, and use them like defensively to solve problems. So Ghost Terra Dozo is just looking to me on paper like, whoa, that's like something that they would not think. Steal for Heavy Slams, we don't need it, right? You don't need that. What's the Terra type that would make Dozo stick on the board the longest? What is the Terra type that lets Dozo stick on the board forever? Forever. Poison throws off Flutter. Well, they can see it. They can just start earthquaking it. Poison is poison. I don't think Poison's the one that lets it do that. And you don't need Grass because like Cresselia can wake it up with Goggles whenever, right? So we don't need to care about that. We can't get taunted. We don't need Dark. You don't need Grass. We don't care if they spore us because Cresselia wakes us up. Fairy. We're getting somewhere. We are. We're definitely getting somewhere with that. Is Crest with Goggles? Yeah, why wouldn't it be? Fairy does a lot. It mitigates a lot of damage. Yeah, Fairy does a lot. Poison is a good one because it takes away your weakness to... It changes out your weakness to... I'm liking Ghost. I'm going to set on Ghost. I think Ghost is really cool. Yeah, that's sick. This guy can go Ghost too. Just do it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We change it if we have to. Dragonite's normal. This is Fairy. What Terra do we want in Drago? I know people like Dragon Energy. I don't think I like Steel though. I'll keep Dragon for now. And Scizor has Water. So now we have a team that is made. And let's see what we can get done with it. Let's go play a couple games. let's go play a couple games. Always just make a stupid account because, like, I don't want people coming into the stream. And then we got to play a couple games to understand how this works, and then we'll go into the flowcharting part. So super standard, double intimidators. Let's see, Tailwind. So they have Flutter Main and Dango. I guess we'll accept open team sheets, right? That's what we're trying to do. They have Flutter Main. They have Dango. So, like, Regidrago is going to be harder to use than I probably want here. But there are situations where, like, we can force the Regidrago if we want. You can lead Regidrago Dragonite. It will work. Yeah, I might go. We're waiting to see if they accept open team sheets. You don't lead Shenpao here. You don't lead Scizor here. I'm going to try. So they're not going to accept open team sheets. So this testing game doesn't even matter. You mean Pittsburgh? Yeah, I might be there. We're going to go with these two. And then Dozo is very good here, but I think that, like, Shenpao is probably just a more solid option. What are your thoughts on Regidrago? It's okay. There's Genies, right? So I'm expecting, like, a taunt / Tailwind nuke. So, like, this is fine. I was very surprised to see the Arcanine. There you go. Yeah, just get my invite right there, right? Overspec, taunt. There's the taunt. So we don't have to mess with that. Nice. That's a good turn from me. So you see how this is, like, so passive. So passive. You can totally Tailwind and do, like, all your stuff now. I think that's, like, low-key fine. I'm gonna click the button. Yep, you're out of here, bro. And now the Flutter Main, that's what I thought they were gonna lead. This is totally fine. Yep, dumpster the Flutter Main. Hit it with an Icy Wind. Bait the Arcanine to come back out. Protect, go for another Icy Wind, or protect, or just swap in Scizor and go for, oh, Dango. That's different. That is different. I can't see what they photosynthesis into. It doesn't, I can't see it. It says speed. Dude, that's cheating. All right. Yeah, super chill. You can double into the crest. It shouldn't KO because we have how much bulk we have. Like, that's a crit, by the way. Crest doesn't care. This is the last turn taunt. Nice. Now we outspeed there. Nice. Crit my Scizor, never lucky. I'm surprised that KO'd Crest. Unlucky. Unlucky for us. Arcanine's coming here somewhere. This is completely fine. Yep. Rocky Helmet, wow. Man, this Goldango is so much damage. Alright. Nice. You can kill the Drago, it's fine. Yep. then now the board state is set up to where we win. Right? Because even if, like, we are intimidated here, but the Shenpao Shred makes up for it. And did they Terra this game? They didn't Terra yet. That's dicey. Either have we. Our Terra doesn't matter here, though. There's the Terra there. That's fine. Yeah, the Terra's probably double dip on the steel over there. Cool. Now, remember, they didn't share team sheets, right? They didn't share team sheets. So, like, how could we really know what we needed to do, especially in our first game? But we did win, right? The game went basically exactly like we needed it to. We set things up correctly. I'm surprised that Dango is pretty much looking like Specs Dango. The Dango had they also crit us twice. I think that's also really important to note that, like, they should not have ever broken this crest. They crit us twice. And you can see how we just kind of let them do, like, their tailwind thing. And we're like, don't care, bro. Don't care. I'm not going to lie. I'm not really vibing as much with the Life Orb Regidrago. I think Expert Belt might be a little bit better. Really kind of think an Expert Belt might be a better choice here, which would change our EV spread. But I'm not going to just change it off one game, right? Yeah, that crit hurt. And then, like, does a lot. So that should have done so much less this turn. Very surprised that KO'd. My plan was to come in with Scizor and basically have both these mons, like, topped off, you know? Dragon Fang, Terra Ground. No, that's too deep. Too deep, not worth. Yeah, Expert Belt for big Earth Power, yep. I mean, Earth Power was the reason we won this game, right? So I really liked this turn. It was a good turn of, like, conditioning the opponent. Because if they would have swapped out the Goldango for Arcanine and just, like, left the Flutter in, Flutter would have gotten KO'd by a Bullet Punch, or if they would protect Flutter, and then, like, we would have just KO'd the Arcanine there. That was a good play. And it's the Icy ones that let us win this one. But yeah, good first game. Sucks they didn't share team sheet, but, like, I still think we're fine. And they probably were, like, Fairy Terra. Yeah, their plan was probably, like, Dazzling plus Make It Rain to, like, get enough damage on Scizor and get the win. Yep, that was good. We did our best. Yeah, Earth Power is a 1.2 boost. Sorry, our Expert Belt to 1.2 boost to super effective moves. I actually think at that point it might even be just better to have Soft Sand. Soft Sand would be a better item than Expert Belt there because we only have 2 moves. Okay. Oh, we'll go to accept team sheets. It's weird seeing 2 Arcanines. We can definitely bring Cress here. Cress is 100% coming. I also want to say that, like, it's not... Dozo's not bad here either. I wonder if they're going to go Mouse. Do you think they go Mouse? Is Dozo Crest good? Rejected! Oh, dude! Rejected! It's fine. Let's see. Dragonite's okay. You don't need Scizor here. I know it looks like you do, but you don't. I think Scizor's an L. I think also Shenpao's an L. I'm gonna bring Dragonite. And then I guess like Draco? Yeah, Draco's okay. Draco's fine. Ugh, Draco's such a weird bring here. Alright. This is the kind of lead I thought would happen. So what do you do here? You pop bomb me? No way, bro. You pop bomb. See what happens? No way they pop bomb here. I'd be so mad. I mean, the only players that, like, actively ignore open team sheet are pop bomb players, right? Am I wrong? Charm. Okay. It's fine. Yeah, this isn't that type of dozo, buddy. El Yonzo. Cool. The Arcanine can stand if it wants. Dragon's going to swap in on the Icy Wind and be slower than my Drago. Yep. There's a pop-up! Dude, we know they had it, dude! We know they had it! Oh, dude, that's so degenerate. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, just Lunar Blessing. I'm double dipping here. It's fine. I'm just going to KO the mouse. And then you're going to bring on the Flutter. Good play from them. That's smart. You don't see Dragonites with the Protect as often. I could have used the free Lunar Blessing there, bro. I mean, they can bring out the Arcanine. Don't really care. I know they got the Flutter there somewhere. That's the thing. I like that I didn't waste my Terra here. I really like that I didn't waste it. Arcanine, really. Huh. If Flutter comes in, we just go back to Dozo. We can just go to Dozo in a lot of situations here. We don't need to leave Regidrago on the board. I want to see if they go like pop, pop. I'm actually thinking about making this guy Ghost Terra. Normal, cool. Yep, there you go, pop, pop. Nice, it's great damage. Rocky Helmet. Ow. Rocky Helmet, though. Ooh, big orb. And then we're faster than them, so we're going to go Lunar Blessing here, and then next turn we'll E-Speed out their Dragonite and finish it off. I apologize, I'm not talking that much today. I'm trying my best to play, and these people won't share team sheets, so it's like, it's way harder. Especially because our team's like made for open team sheet. But let's see what they do. Ooh, they're using Protect. Works for me. Yeah, I just want more health. Flare Blitz. Big damage in the Crest. Cool. We outspeed them. You're gonna nuke the Crest. Right? This just KOs. I'm gonna go for it. Damn, unlucky. More damage on you. Not dead. Oh, dude, we holding out here. Dude, this team is busted. Dragonite live forever, dude. What is this Rocky Helmet Dragonite, dude? Oh, they don't have the good Mon. Oh, no. They scooped. Oh, yes. Oh, you love that. The reject open team sheet. The reject open team sheet into the absolute destroy. Goggles, Trick Room, Rain Dance. Wow, okay. Dozo, Wave Crash, Curse, Fisher, Protect. Okay, okay. Grimmsnarl, White Clay, Standard. Dragonite, White Herb. Huh. Outrage, Safeguard. Weird. That's actually really cool. I like that. I might want to take that. Rocky Helmet, Arcanine. Gotta watch out for that guy. Rillaboom, AV. Okay. Cool. I like this. So yeah, we're still trying to like find out what positions, like it takes a lot of games to like understand what mons you need to be bringing in every single matchup. So that Rillaboom can actually give us like a lot of problems if we don't respect it correctly. Let's see what they want to do though. Arcanine's also problematic, but like I'm not that afraid of this set. It can't even actually fight my Scizor. We can just Water Terra and we're fine. So Scizzor's like kind of goated here. So if like either they go Arcanine or Rilla, like we either Terra to beat this or we don't Terra and we beat this. Drain Punch is weird. E-Speed Aerial Ace. Outrage. Grim. Standard Light Clay with Dragonite. They have Outrage. It's there. Did we see it? I want to see if they lock in Outrage. The right play here is like Light Screen, and like that's the thing is like your Dragon doesn't really have anything. It can go like normal Terra and like E-Speed here, yeah. But then next turn, see like so this lead right here, it made them waste their Terra, right? And I would like you to do all those things. So now that you did all this stuff, no, White Orb's fine. We needed to break the. We needed to. They didn't focus. They were on multi-scale. Well, we need to get one more speed drop on them. But now we can just swap in here. And just, we need one more Icy Wind, and then we can just continually spam healing. And you just Rocket Helmet your way down. Yeah. I wonder if they're going to Spirit Break here. I don't think we die. I don't think we die. Maybe I should have healed. I should have healed. It's my fault. I should have healed. That's a misplay for me. Okay. Still bad. Still bad. Still really bad. Could have healed that. That's just damage I need to take. My fault. I don't know why I did that. Oh, sick. Cool. Arcanine does not have that speed control. Nice. Nice. Yes, now it can work for days. So I think like in this situation, like there's nothing wrong with just like that. Like, yeah, you got a light screen up, but like how much do I really care? Don't care. Don't care. Just chilling. I wonder what the last month. It's probably Rilla, right? Do you want to bring a Rilla here? I'll paralyze that guy too. This guy's like, I have Safeguard Dragonite. How is this my life? Yeah, E-Speed in there, huh? Okay. Give me 1 sec. Okay. Wisp. It's completely okay. Absolutely fine. Again, we can just kind of chill here. We can start going for fissures and stuff too. We just don't have to. Like, this is just fine. Yep, it's a lot of damage. Eventually, we're going to get a para and be fine. There's a para there. Nice. Very nice. Last turn light screen, huh? It's fine. They're probably going to swap out for Grim because like they're really pinned. And I don't care if they want to bring their Grim back in. Wow! Woke up, chose it, huh? Good damage. I don't care if you want to Snarl. This is good damage for me. Yep. Now they're dead for the most part. You just go Protect. Lunar Blessing again. I mean, there's no way for me to share that. I mean, I just built all the EVs for this team. How many E-Speeds have they used? They have 2 left. There's the Grim. I mean, yeah, I mean, what EV spreads do you want, you know? Safeguard! Ah! Oh, dude, I'm such a villain, bro. There's the Arcanine. Cool, that's fine. Can't drop the stats there. I just like how they can totally have their dual screens. I'm pretty sure, so by the way, this game, if this was like a VGC game, it'd be going to time by now. We would have already won by time. Alright, so Heavy Slam did 26%, and Moonblast did 14%, so I don't even know if that gets the KO here. I don't know if I want to use any more Lunar Blessings just yet. We don't have to. Parting's fine. This is going to be a lot of damage on something. And Dragonite might die. Next turn. Burn. Dude, they've gotten like 3 burns off that move. Damn, unlucky. It's the burn that ticked us over. Okay, that's the last E-Speed. If we hit a Fisher, bro. Alright. Works for me. They're out of E-Speeds now. We can kill the Dragon. We can kill that guy. They're going to Outrage here, but then they can't ever beat our Drago. So, like, we're super, super okay. I mean, let's think about what the right play is here. E-Speed there, for sure. And then the right play is just to Fisher this thing. Don't need to even E-Speed. Oh, they tried to go for a Spirit Break. Cool. Does not matter if they want to Outrage in that slot. Yep, absolutely fine. Okay, you're going to get Rocky Helmet taken out. Doesn't matter. We go for one for a Fisher. It failed. And then we have these two. It's a 2v1. Again, this game would have went to time so long ago. Versus Rilla. And we still have that Terra. Wide screen 1 turn? Yeah, just chill. Nice. We got it. It takes a while. Nice little 18-turn game. Nice. We take those. Amoonguss Rocky Helmet. So they shouldn't bring this versus us. Just throwing this out there. Heatran. Okay. Standard lefties Heatran. And hands with Fake Out. Dozo is good here, but I'm going to try the Dragonite. Okay. So it's, I really like how that works. I don't think we need to. I think just this does it. I don't want to make myself weak to hands. That's actually fine. But they know we have it. That's super okay. Good play. Good defensive play from them. They shouldn't be able to KO anything here. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we got this game. Good play from them. Good play. Really good stuff. Liked it a lot. Nice. It just goes to show, like, you don't need to use, like, Scarf Dragos. And, like, you don't need to be, like, the standard way that everyone plays. I would say this Drago set's freaking weird as shit, you know, but it works in the context of this team. What is that, Cress? You can go Fake Out. You can force him to do stuff. Like, I don't care if you have Moonblast. You have Moonblast, right? Is it Ally Switch? Do you have Moonblast? You do. I'm actually okay with just Protect. Protect. Fake Out. Fake Out TR. Yep, it's fine. Fairy Terror. Wow. Welcome chose that violence, huh? Heavy Slam. Okay. Oh, that's that good damage. There's the TR. Okay. So Scizor checks the crap out of that, which means we just got to get this guy off the board. It's just going to take a little bit. Yeah, thank you for the follow. You can play. Just take the L. Absolutely okay. I don't want to take that damage there yet. This should be able to do it, and then Scizor just comes in and wins on Cress. Iron Ball Drago. It's good tech. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. That's too much damage, bro. That's too much. That's too much. Don't kill me, bro. Whew, we holding. You like this Drago energy out here? Holy moly. Reggie Drago busted. If we can't hit that thing, I mean, there you go. Yep, just free damage. Just waiting for Scizor to come in. They can't really block the Scizor. Like, we can't hit it at all, so it doesn't matter. You know, and then Scizor can just swap in there. And then we want to repin. Yeah, it doesn't matter what we use. We want them to kill this thing, though, so they're making the right play. And I think realistically there's something wrong with Light Screen here. Because, like, what are they going to do? Yeah, there's no reason to use any other moves, so it doesn't matter. Trick Room's fine. We do too much. Thank you. Alright, so you have Winter Blessing. If you want to use it, go for it. We do too much damage. We do more damage than you heal, so it's like there's nothing you get out of it. Yeah, got it. 1%. The Light Screen Scizor difference out here. Whew. Take those. Play one more game, and then we'll go into, like, organizing a little bit more of the flowcharts. Okay. This Rocky Helmet Dragonite is actually, like, the coolest fucking Pokemon. Like, it really is. Dozo's good here, but it's not great. Drago's okay here, but I need to see if that's a Fairy Terra Crest. Scizor's good here. Just a good mon. But I don't think we need to lead with it. I think that you when we Drago to push a narrative, force them to reveal their Terras or do things like that, pivot into the Dragonite, mitigate. So like Drago Crest here is one of my favorites. And then you have Dragonite for like damage mitigation and Scissor to close out the Flutter. That's like the way I'm looking at this matchup right now. Cool. Absolutely fine. So a speed boost. Wow. Huh. Did not expect the speed boost there. On this team. Flying Terra. Trying to nuke my Crest. Yeah. Oh, God, I can't believe that killed. That's banded then. So again, they won't share team sheets like spec or not booster, but like very, very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. I dislike everything about that for me. That fucking sucks, dude. You know, like I was switching. Easy. Yep, and their inner focus. That was a great play from us. Nice. Completely okay. I was gonna, dude, they could have swapped in that Flutter. They could have. I was gonna let them do it, bro. I was gonna let them do it. Oh, big damage. But Rocky Helmet, though. Yeah, this guy's gonna be a pain in the ass to get off the board. I don't think I have the tools to do it. Don't think I have the tools to do it. Going to Pittsburgh. I might go to Pittsburgh. We'll see. We will see. Cool. It's free damage that we would not have gotten on that hands otherwise. That's actually really, really good for us. Like, holy moly. We got shots. We're back, boys. E-Speed BP. What was that turn? What was that turn, dude? Where are you looking out here? Who's best? Monocower, Terragrass, Heatran? Gyarados and Landorus both do a really good job. But, like, it depends on... You know, you can just wall the Heatran. Like, Cresselia does a good job about not having problems with it either. This person threw the game in the garbage. They should not have killed the Drago. I mean, I was trying to kill myself, but, like, they could have, like, protected or done something, you know? Yeah. Yeah, we'll get it. And then, like, I don't think they... Yeah, we got it. But you don't, even a crit Sucker Punch can't do it. Whew! Yep. We thick. Damn, boy, he thick. Cool. Alright, so we're 6-2. So if this was a regional... That's a technically... Like, if that's a smaller regional, it's a day 2. Let's play one more. The only 2 losses we have were to best of 1 close team sheet trap. So it's like, I think we're okay. Bandit is amazing. I love this for them. It's probably an Imprison Mom, though, for like Chimpa Dragonite Core. I don't think it's like roleplay. That's weird. Cresselia, Trick Room, Amoonguss, don't care. Luna, Goodmon. It's a good set. Bandit, Covert Cloak, Curse, Shadow Sneak, Terra Blast. Psychic Fangs. This guy doesn't have protection. Anytime we say that, we just nuke it. And the band. Cool, this is great. You just kill it. They can still win here, but I think this is the right play. Fire Punch is problematic. we just got to bait them into the wrong move. So, like, that Amoonguss is big sad out here. Oh, dude, we woke up and chose it today. Oh, yes, we did. You have Fairy Tera on that? We have to check these things. Terra type normal. Amoonguss doesn't have Fairy. Like, they're just big done. I could also, like, side... I could low-key side Thunder Wave to make it so the Spore would fail there, and then next turn Lunar Blessing to heal it back up. Oh, dude, that'd be so sick. But, like, Icy Wind's fine. Because it covers up a Shenpower Dragonite swap in. That's over. This one's over. You can protect all you want. Yep. We're getting the Shenpower too. Don't care. Do not care. Protect Thunder Wave. Lunar Blessing. Dragon Energy win the game. Yep. You have Sucker Punch, not like any things that we actually care about, so just protect T-Wave. Miss T-Wave! No! That's so dumb, bro. We had that game won. It's fine, we still win, but like... Big cry every time, bro. I'm trying to think of a way that we lose this. That's so all that because of a miss Heat Wave or miss Thunder Wave. If we hit that Thunder Wave, the game was over. Never lucky, bro. Yep. So they're going Terra to not die to those things. Get multi-scaled up. Absolutely okay. So the last one that we did. You can see the Bullet Punch did 42%. They're exactly 42. We should be able to double dip them in here. So, like, as long as this does the same amount of damage, we win. Well, they're going to Sucker. Dude, this is going to be sick. This is such a sick play. Protect. They go double. Sucker Punch fails. Reflect! Dude, we got a Reflect off. Ah! Oh, that's so sick, dude. Okay. And then this Dragonite was banded, right? So, dude, we have a Reflect, though. Oh my gosh, that's the coolest thing in the freaking world. Your Inner Focus Dragonite or Multiscale? Inner Focus. So you have Ice Spinner as an option. I don't have any more speed control. But that's probably still my best bet. I mean, we can just protect there, go BP here, soak the damage, do it again. Because you have to, I mean, if you want to Fire Punch me and lock yourself in a Fire Punch, that's like absolutely fine. I think this is fine. Because we're going to one-shot your Dragonite. And then Luna, if it protects, is taking burn damage. Yeah. It's fine. Yeet! And then it's just up to Luna to Oko from here. 98 base power. Let's go. All that because of a missed Thunder Wave. Yeah, I'll take those wins. So now that we are pretty comfortable with this team, let's go. Obviously, there are things that we can still change, but like we can start categorizing our team into like lead options. And so we can do that by going into this mode. So let's like talk about our lead options, and let's rank like every single lead option. So like, where would I put a lead option of Scizor, Regidrago? I would put that in the A tier. I think this is good against Trick Room teams. I think this is good against any teams that are reactive, like at all. Any sort of teams built around Crest, built around Amoonguss, built around Fluttermane. It just pushes a narrative, and then I can usually always go protect with one of them and then pivot in Dozo and or Crest. And so you see like every single one of these leads, I have like secondary plans for like get out of jail free cards to like capitalize on leads that could turn into something more problematic. Things that could give this lead problems are leads like Intimidate users, but then those Intimidate users are usually pretty pinned by things like Regidrago. So I think this is a solid lead. It's an A tier lead. It works in a lot of situations. It's very, very standard. Scizor Crest. Scizor Crest. So it'd be I just want to say this, like Scizor Regidrago with like Crest Dozo in the back. So you're thinking of mons to have in the back of this game. I would say Scizor, Regidrago are good, but then like we're looking at Scizor and Cress, and the options for Scizor Cress are going to be different. I'd still actually put it in the A tier. With the ability to bring out like a turn 1 U-turn. Bring in Drago safe, right? So we go like turn 1, Scizor soaks some damage, gets off a safety, a Citrus Berry, and then we get to bring in Regidrago safely after an Icy Wind, and then just go for or a Thunder Wave, and then just go Dragon's Maw. So it's still a good lead. There's reasons behind these sort of things. Also, like we can pivot out to Regidrago or Dozo or like Dragonite if we're really afraid of like an Urshifu all-in on one of these Mons, because we have the Rocky Helmet and good defensive typing in those situations. Let's talk about Scizor Dragonite. Scizor Dragonite I don't think is that great. The only thing Scizor Dragonite does, right? Scizor Dragonite does one thing very well. I'm going to put it in the B tier. First of all, it's weak to Intimidate. But it bullies Flutter Shenpao into Protect or Switch, which leads to free Tailwind. Right, so this is basically you bully those mon into protecting or swapping, you get a free Tailwind. It's great. That's basically all it does. It's the B tier lead. I would say like this is like definitely like a game 2 or game 3, like just alternate option. I wouldn't think it's amazing, but it does work. Scizor Shenpao, great. That's another. It might even be an S tier lead. Yeah, I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put it in the. These aren't really ranked in their own tiers, but Scizor Shenpao is good. Basically, the lead with this option would go for like turn 1. We can just go for like sucker, like priority. Good versus Chi, Fu, Flutter, because it is. If they're not, an open team sheet, and then like from there we can always go protect Shenpao into like a U-turn to bring in either the Dozo, either the Dragonite, either like you can basically just go protect U-turn into correct partner. So it's easy. It's very safe. It's not revealing a lot. It's forcing your opponent to like pivot, show more about their team, and then we get to decide what we want to do after that. And then Scizor Dozo, it's definitely more in like the C tier. And the reason it's down here, as opposed to like one of those B tier leads, is because like Dozo is the #1 pivot for Scizor. So can't switch to Dozo if it's on the board. There are options that like this option has. So it's like you can condition their Flutter or the Shenpao away from attacking your Dozo if they have moves that are good against our Dozo, and then our Dozo can freely go for like Yawns. It can freely go for Fissures or anything like that. But I think Dozo is much better coming in like in the middle of the game to alleviate pressure and then dictate play. Like we don't need Dozo and Scizor on the board because that's our 2 big Flutter checks. They don't need to be on the board at the same time. This could work though if they lead Flutter Fake Out, because then we would still have 2 Flutter checks. So think about that. Plays around. Flutter Fake Out user, because you can just double into the Flutter slot. It's good. It's not terrible. It's worth noting. So that's the first row. So now we're gonna look at Regidrago Cress. I'm gonna put this in the S tier lead. Now, you might not think that this is a really good lead. I think this lead's cracked. Basically, if your opponent is not hyper aggressive, if they're not leading Tailwind or something stupid like Urshi all in play, you just go protect Drago, speed control, and then from there you dumpster everything. This is just like super safe. This lead punishes opponents for respecting Regidrago. I did this like 10 times. You just swap in the Dragonite and Lunar Blessing. You go Dragonite here. Pivot to D-Knight every single time. Rocky Helmet, break those sashes. Lunar Blessing, keep the multi-scale Dragonite at full. Good play. I like this play. I like this. This is just freaking sick. I think this is a solid lead. I'm gonna go. I would go with this in like game 1 and almost every matchup because you can elongate the game, see a lot about your opponent's EV spreads. It's not really weak to that many things, and just seems like a generally really solid squad. Regidrago Dragonite. Is there a reason for this to exist? It's like a B tier lead. Again, Regidrago Dragonite. I don't think there's really that much of a reason for this to exist. The best thing it has is like Protect, Drago, set Tailwind. We have the option to do Earth Power to beat mons like Heatran and Goldango that Dragonite struggles with. And then Dragonite also has Iron Head to check things like Flutter that Regidrago starts with. So that's decent. You need to know that, like, it works, but that's about it. So Regidrago Shempow. This is a little bit more aggressive. I would definitely put this in B. And I don't think it's like amazing. I think there are definitely things that are good about it. But best thing is here is we have Protect. Protect with correct teammate switch in. So the good thing is we have like Dozo and Cress in the back. Right? Just an option. So let's see, we next have up Regidrago Dozo. That's a C tier lead. There are options for it almost being B. Best thing this has is Protect, Regidrago, Yawn, turn 1. So like if your opponent is like all in on like a specific mon that like they want to do, like so against like other Dozo weeds, this was actually pretty good because this is going to force them to overspec their Drago with like a order up or something like the Earthquake, something like that. They throw the attack in there, we get the free Yawn, and then next turn we just pivot out our Regidrago to another mon like our Cress, and we just mitigate damage and then go for Lunar Blessings, wall them out. We basically, if they're a combo based team, this just says the combo doesn't work. Up next is going to be Cresselia. So Cresselia Dragonite. I think Cresselia Dragonite's okay. It's definitely in the B tier. The best thing this lead has, is speed control. It's probably the best lead I have for speed control. It's both of my mons. And then also you have access to like Lunar Blessing plus multi-scale. Yeah, I'm down. That's solid. I like those options. Cresselia Shempow. I'm not a big fan of this one. This basically just, I'm gonna put this in the C tier. Cresselia Shempow. And the reason I don't really like this lead is because this makes my Cresselia weaker. And so with Shempow, you want to be weaving in those protection and stuff like that. This makes my Cresselia's defense weaker. It doesn't really get us anything, so the best play would be Protect speed control plays. So like Protect. It does better against Rillaboom than like the other variants of like Protect Cress like teammate attack. So like it's better against Rillaboom, but I don't think it's that great. But I think there are better options. And the last mon is Crest Dozo, which like I'm gonna put up in the A tier. Basically the thing here is unbreakable. You're not losing both your mounts on turn 1. You're going to be able to go for Yawns. You're going to be able to go for speed control, weave in those Thunder Waves, heavy slams against Flutters. Like, you're going to be able to trade very safely for 3-4 turns of the game. And then if you pick off a mon that is very important to your opponent's strategy, you can then either checkmate them with like Regidrago if you take out their Flutter. You can checkmate like them with Scizor if you take out like their Arcane or something. You can checkmate them with Dozo if you take out the Rilla with like a Fisher. You can checkmate them with basically any of their 3 sweepers in the back if you need. And you also have the Dragon to switch in on any big physical attacks if you need it. So it's a pretty solid squad. Sorry, pretty solid squad. Dragonite Shenpao, S tier weed, obviously. Gotta always have what I call your noob combos. Gotta always have your bread and butters out here. Yep, it's just aggressive. You know, they have to respect a lot of priority. And then you have Dragonite and Dozo, which I actually do like. I'm gonna put that in the B tier. And basically you just get a free Tailwind and or. You get a Tailwind and or Yanov. And depending on the matchup, that could be really, really important for like winning the matchup overall. So if they're a team that's like really built on like one mon carrying, like Yon can win the game. But if like you just need a Tailwind and like they don't have dynamic speed control, you can just go like turn 1, like do your thing with Dozo. Maybe they over-respect Dozo, get the Tailwind up, bring out the Regidrago. Regidrago just wins the game. Easy peasy. The last move here is going to be Shenpao Dozo, which like I don't really think that you ever would need that in any situation. So I'm going to put it in the C tier. Actually, we're going to put it up here. It's still C tier, but the reason is fine. And the only good thing about this lead is that heavy slam still KOs bulky Flutter thanks to Xian. Can't type. Pow ability. So I turn 1 protect, heavy slam would still KO. Right? So these are a bunch of our leads. So now that we're going to do this, so we're going to bold a bunch of these. Where's the bold option? Is it like here? Bold. So it's Control B for bold. Haha, look at me learning. All right, so Control B. So we're bolding these just so it's easier to see. Bold. 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 And this is every single lead combination that we have, and like a slight little like flowchart thing going over like what it's strong into. And maybe what to do if you don't like it. These obviously get expanded on 1,000 times once you have like accurate usage data. We're not even like a 10th of the way done with like making a team like this ready for like a regional, because this is still just basically understanding at a basic level what these teams do. So these are our options. So now what we want to do is you want to take these sort of teams and apply a number or like a letter value to every one of these leads. So it looks like we don't even have any bad leads or any D tier leads. There's good positive reasons for all of these with good mons to go to. That means the team's made well, by the way. What we would do here is go like this. Go all the way down here. Can I not do that there? Why doesn't it let me? Oh, we don't. This isn't a bold. That's just an extra. It just talks about that. All right, we're good. Okay, so we only have 2 C tier. Sorry, we only have 2 S tier weeds, but there's a lot of good A tier weeds. But you only really need 2 S tier leads to actually win a set, 'cause you only need to win 2 games, right? So when you answer this question. The only question I have is considering the back row with your lead argument, that would help me out more than I care to admit. What do you mean? Stop Tatsu that I'm interested. The thing is, it's like Tatsu would never come ever, but like there's no room for Tatsu because like the rest of the teammates all have very, very solid things. So we're gonna attach a 1 to this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And is there a way to change the color on this? I think there is, but I don't remember how. There has to be an easy way to change the color. It's fine. Doesn't matter. These all have numbers now, right? So then what we want to do is, give me just 1 sec. Make a whole new drive. And then basically just start saying like, you need to win a best of 3. You need to win 2 games. What lead combos can be used to condition our opponents, if I can type, into bringing the Pokemon we want them to bring in games 2 and 3. Game 1, they should be conditioned by our team preview, the base level of what our team says that it does. But in games 2 and in games 3, we want to understand and recognize patterns that we see in playing multiple best of 3s against opponents that we can then punish. And in recognizing these patterns and tracking this data, this is where you're going to see like, wow, every single game 2 I ever play, if I ever open up, let's say I open up with option 2 for game 1. So game 1, lead 2. And so game 1, lead 2. Let's go like over here. So lead 2, and let's say we win. Let's say we win. And so let's say we track this data, and so every single game 1 that we win using lead 2, let's say we notice a pattern where that always triggers our opponent into bringing XYZ Pokemon if it's on their team. So for example, in game 1, maybe their team was like, they had like an Iron Bundle in the team preview, but they didn't bring it in game 1. But in game 2, after we won in game 1, we notice that means they bring Iron Bundle, right? So that means going into game 2, if we know that this is a common pattern, whenever we see other players are doing those things, we then start to tech in things that are good versus Iron Bundle, right? And it's not even about trying to read them or catch them. It's all just like analyzing data that we take here. And we're just using Bundle as an example. So you really are going to have to play like 100 best of 3s against average to high level players. And then from there, analyze every single Pokemon that comes every single game. And this is so important. But you can get to a point where you know exactly what Mons you need to bring, and it just goes on autopilot if you like memorize your data. And these are things that players like Wolf, Zhang, all those other guys do automatically in their heads. But it's pretty important. So for example, let's say we go into like another one where like maybe we lost game 1. We lost game 1 by going with probably one of our A tier leads. So let's go with probably like a Scizor Regidrago. So we went Scizor Regidrago. So that's option 4. So we went lead 4, and we lost. And let's say we lost, and that would then make them probably do the same thing again. So like basically, let's say their core was, let's just go into like a random game. Do we have any games? Let's play one game so we can have like just average usage data. I don't think Shimpao's good here. I don't know how I feel about Scizor here either. Let's try these. This is from Patreon. It's a cool looking team. I tried to open team sheet him. He didn't want to. He didn't want to see my sauce. You say this team solely depends on Dozo hitting Fissures? I don't think it does. I would say that that doesn't really have anything to do with it. Dozo doesn't have to hit Fissures. It's not. Its role's not Fissure. Its role's Yawn. And then allowing the teammates to do stuff. Cresselia can get the win by itself. So what are they using here? You're going to knock off my crest? Do I care? Can I hit that? Is there a reason to hit that? Yeah, we know that we're going to be faster there, so there's no reason to do it. Cool. So now we can Thunder Wave the roll if we feel like it. Or we can just yawn that slot and just Icy Wind. We don't need a Winter Blessing just yet. Yeah, but Fissure's not there to like really be used, so. Yawn is the actual sauce here. I want to see if they're knockoffing my Dozo. I don't really care. Oh, that's such a good play. That sucks for me. That's ass. It's a good play from them. Woodhammer, tons of damage there. Trying to see it. Sick. Full pair, we take those. So we have Para on Annihilate, Para on Grimmsnarl. Rill is still fine, but it's slow. Yeah, fuck it. We just want to Thunder Wave here. You can Thunder Wave the Arcanine, like Drago's gonna start cleaning up. It's not my version of Sunroom, like everyone has. Sunroom's pretty standard. Good play. Good play. Fissure hits. Hey, dude, sometimes we take those, right? Yeah, we take those. Yeah. Cool. It's a scoop. Cool. Yeah. Didn't share team sheet, but it makes sense. So against this board, right, we saw a lot of physical mons, right? And so if we're looking at like building a flowchart, against teams like this, they like, this is their team. So when this means whenever we fight against teams like this, so if you're analyzing and taking your notes down, note that they want to bring their Grimm. They want to. Something about our team says bring Annihilate. Something about our team says bring Rilla. It's the Dozo. Something about our team says bring Arcanine. It's the Shenpao Dragonite, right? So it's like we know what we're trying to tell them, but the thing that we can analyze by taking a look at our notes is if we were to play like 10, 20, 30 games and look at all the notes, we can say, why are they bringing Arcanine over Cress? And then for 2 months that we know that they want to bring, things like Grimmsnarl and Arcanine, why is one of them the lead and one of them in the back? What about our team makes that happen? And so you can, if you analyze the data and take tons of notes on it and say like, I saw these 6, they brought these 2 in the front, they brought these 2 in the back, they left these 2 at home, this was a win, this was a loss, and look at where game 2s and game 3s happen in those situations, you can start to learn a little bit more about what your team says it does. I get the question all the time, like, how do I know what to do in the team preview? And the answer is just get incredibly, incredibly familiar with what your team says that it does and understand why they want to bring Arcanine, why they want to bring Arcanine more than Cresselia, why they want to bring Arcanine more than Annihilate or more than Flutter or more than Shenpao. And you start to understand, like, well, every time you go into a team preview, you're like, well, they usually would bring these 4, and there's a higher % chance of them leading with this one because that's what my data says, and there's a higher % chance of them bringing XYZ Mon in the back if they even bring it. Usually, by the time you're fully understanding a team, you can guess 3 of the 4 Mons they're going to bring almost every time, and you can usually guess 1 to 2, if not both of the leads in almost every single situation, especially those game 2 and those game 3 situations if you're actually like analyzing the data and knowing the flowcharts that say, when I win game 1 by doing this, this is what happens. When I lose game 1 by doing this, this is what happens. This is the lead that punishes what I just won with, or this is the lead that I can use to take advantage of just what I just lost to, right? So does that make sense? And this takes dozens of hours, not hundreds. It takes probably about 6 to 12 hours to get done, and then another like 8 to 10, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less to actually put it into effect, and then probably another 4 or 5 more to like practice this data. You can use flashcards, you can use all these different things, but you have to memorize this crap, right? And so it's not just understanding your speed tiers. It's not just understanding your Pokemon. It's not just using the Pokemon that you like. It's about exact reasons that your opponent has to respect these options, and if they don't respect these options, they lose. And so when they start falling into patterns of recognizing your options, you can start to punish those patterns. And I've said it before, it's not even about like outplaying your opponents. It's just about following through on the data that you took. If you fight 100 games and if XYZ thing happens in like 95% of those games, you can safely put points in saying this will happen. This happens every time. This is always how this goes down, right? And there are obviously situations where like, oh, they can just do the different play because they know that I know that it's different, but it's so much easier to fall through on these flowcharts when open team sheets happen. When people see Dozo without Tatsu, they get they're instantly getting nervous. I mean, Dozo's just a good Mon. It's just a really good Mon, and it forces them to really over-respect Dozo. So like it forces things like Rillaboom, for example, and Rillaboom doesn't have a good time versus things like Shenpao, Scizor, and Regidrago, or Cresselia, or Dragonite. You see what I mean? Like Rillaboom in this sort of situation is a wasted Mon. So what I would say, what the data would say, is probably after the course of probably 20 or 30 games of them bringing Rilla in game 1, if we were to track like best of 3 data, you'd realize that they always cut Rilla in game 2, which means when they cut Rilla, we can then start bringing our Scizor even more and leaning into that Water Terra to punish those other Mons, right? And we don't have to bring Dozo anymore because they're like, well, we could bring Dozo, but you know what I mean? So it's all about like analyzing your best of 3 data. So you just have to play like hundreds of best of 3 games. You can play these in tournaments, you can play them not in tournaments, but it's really important to note like what 6 Pokemon you see, what the order of the team preview is. And I would also say what you want to start doing is tracking if you can guess what 4 they should be bringing every single time. See how often you get your leads right, because that means you're basically testing yourself to make sure that like you're analyzing the data correctly. Do you post this team in the Discord? I have not posted this team anywhere. I just made it like right now. It took me 20 minutes. So it's just a fun team. This is a team for one of my Patreons. So I'll probably give it to them. But let's play just a couple more games and see if we can still follow through, because we haven't gotten nearly enough. Like, we haven't gotten any best of 3 testing with this team. This team's made for best of 3. The only like 3 losses that we have had have been to, I think I misplayed 1, right? And then the other 2 were to close team sheet shenanigans. But let's see, against this team, Urshifu's a big problem. I don't like fighting Urshifu with a lot of these teams. So teams where you try to like mitigate damage and have board state, it's really hard to make that work versus Urshifu. If they make the right read and they disrespect your ability to like, if I would crest Regidrago and you hit the crest but I don't Terra, because like I could, it's a loss. And like I don't know if a lot of people know to like follow through on that yet. Chi-Yu Orb. So we can just pop that guy. They have, what Terra is this? Flying Terra, okay. Grimmsnarl with, ooh, what is that? Where's the Spirit Break, bro? So, like, I don't care about that. Damprock, don't care. Wide Guard, I do care. Magnet, Thunder, Thunderbolt, Protect, no Fake Out. No EQ Lando, and Rapid Strike, Mystic Water. So, Cress is good here. Cress is good here. Cress just leads and does its thing. Shenpao is actually not bad here. I don't think that there's a problem with Shenpao. Scizor is also good here. Dragonite's usable. Sorry, Cress. I don't hate Cress Dozo here, as weird as that sounds. I don't really think it matters. But I then would be pivotless. So let's actually take a look at some of the cores that we went into. Regidrago Cress could work here. Okay. That's our S tier lead. This is one of our best leads, is this. Let's see if this lead works against this score. We need to then bring Dondos in the back to be able to wall out some of those guys. And then I actually really like Shenpao here. I think the Dragonite's viable, but I think Shenpao's very good. We're going to be able to punish the Chi-Yu for going Flying Terra. I wanted to lead with it. Urshi's very oppressive. So there's the Grim. Again, this Grim has Fake Out, but it does not have screens. So, like, you can go all in either of these slots if you do choose to do so. Urshi is, like, I mean, I'm clicking it, bro. I clicked the button. I clicked it. Like, what are you using? You can Fake Out the Draco if you want. I'm still on the fence about Dragon Tier. I kind of want to make it Ghost. Yeah, dude, where are you going? Where are you going out here? Where are you looking? See, like, this Grimmsnarl is still in, like, a really good spot, but, like, bruh. Just took it, throw it in the garbage. Now I can protect forever. And so, like, I just want to talk, we'll talk about it at the end of the game, but, like, now they have no Fake Out here. They have no Encore here either, right? There's no Fake Out on this right shoot, so Thunder, Thunderbolt, means last one's probably Pelipper if they have it. Completely fine dropping Double Protect. They have no Encore. There's the Pelipper. See, we were able to analyze the Pelipper based off their playstyle. Do you see, like, how that's, like, it's not a matter of reading or, like, trying to call something. It's literally just, like, data. They would not have Raichu if they did not have the Pelipper. There's no reason Raichu would come out there. There's no reason that any of that works. It's right. They're going to go for a Wide Guard here, and I think they went for a Spirit Break, right? Taunt. Okay. You can't taunt me. I have Oblivious. So let's go. Don't speak fast. I don't speak fast either. Yeah, we can just pivot in Cress and go for, I think we can just Yawn into the Pelipper slot. I think that's completely fine. We can also just Heavy Slam the Grimmsnarl. It's fine. Probably doesn't KO, but it's a 2-shot. That's fine. I have Oblivious. I don't care. Tailwind's completely fine. We don't win this game with speed control. We win this game by just playing correctly. Your Pelipper set is Damp Rock, Hurricane. Yeah, we just double into that slot. Taunt the Crest. I don't care. What do you think? We play Heatran with Fairy. I mean, Heatran with Fairy is probably fine. I'm not a big fan of Heatran in this format. I think it's really, like, a solid mon. I'm just not that big of a fan of it. So Raichu doesn't have any sort of, like, real ways to play around this sort of stuff. We can just protect Doza for one turn, go for an Icy Wind, and then that makes it so, I don't think they're Wide Guarding here. I want to get my one Icy, such a good play. So smart. I love you. I love you, opponent. They even made the right play and go after the Crest. See, that's good. See, that's the sort of shit that's, like, really weird. We're going to Moonblast here, and I am going to Ghost Terra. I don't think I have to, but, like, I'm just going to do it. It's a good play. They're forcing me to Terra in a situation where I don't want to, but we basically just have to wait out what this Raichu does, and we're fine. Yep. Oof, double Para from Thunders. Dude, never lucky me. Big damage. Drowsy. All right. Shaking off the taunt. Try and get the Winter Blessing off. Try and get the Protect off. Double Para. Cool. Nice. 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 And that's game. Good night. Good fight, Raichu. Cool. So, pretty easy game. Basically just use the team sheet to solve for X in that one. But if we go take a look at the replay, right? So when they lead like this, that's a weird lead. I would say if you were to rank all of their leads, that lead probably falls into like the B or C tier lead. And so realistically, I led with an S tier lead. It's an S tier lead for a reason. We just ranked all of our leads over here. So over here, right? So this is one of my better leads, and that's one of their worst leads. So in those situations, we have a huge advantage. Like, you can say they can go for like a couple different plays with like protect and like spirit breaks, but then we can just go restore our health back. Like, we basically force them to over respect some of these slots. We dangle it in front of them, even if they were like pivot out the Grim and go for like Pelipper. Like, there are situations where they could do something here, but this is not a very good lead. So, you know, we were talking a lot about like showing and telling, and like, you know, we want to show a lead that says one thing, and our opponent shows a lead that says one thing. You still need to be able to capitalize on your bluffs a lot of the time. So that's one of the things that's why I really like this lead. I can just click the buttons and take the win. The Urshifu goes away, and this team just falls apart, right? If they wanted to go protect, like player for fake out or whatever, that's fine. We still have Dozo on the board. We would then just pivot out Drago next turn for Cress and just go for Yance and still win the game there, right? Yeah, we do music as well. So yeah, I think that like this is a good example of like when you have to have like noob combo leads that can just like win the game in some situations if your opponent doesn't really bring the right mons correctly. And this team just does that, so it's pretty good. Let's go another one. Dude, we're killing it out here. Cool. I wonder if it's like a U-turn water shuriken play. I wonder if that's like an adaptability basket legion. I don't know. It's hard to say, right? It is hard to say. If they don't share open team sheets, I wonder what I'm going to do. I should actually, like, so this is the second time I'm fighting Ape today. I should probably not bring Cress as frequently as I have been. That's probably the Water Shuriken Greninja, right? Into the Ape with, like, the just freaking crazy amount of damage. Let's see. So, I'm going to try this into that. Dragonite Scizor. What tier lead is that? It's a B tier lead. So if we were taking our notes, this would be like a win or loss from a B tier lead against like Greninja Ape with like those two. We'll see how this goes. I think this is an L for us, but let's see. Why is the UI so weird? What UI? Is this a mod? What? All right, so that's the exact lead that we're trying to check. And so our idea for this win con, I don't think it's going to work because all they have to do is go Ghost Terra, and they didn't share their team sheet, so I can't see it. See if they do it. And they're dead. Whoa, maybe not. Wow, that's a thick boy. Damn, boy, he's thick. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, there's some lose a Scizor there. We can take that guy out, but then they have like a really big Rage Fist, but then we really don't care here. Let's see. Yeah, it's fine. Do we need to E-speed? That is the question. And you just come in, stop, and just stop at E-speed. So we just go for we don't die. Cool. It's free damage. That's big damage. That's that big boy damage. That's like, oh Lord, he coming damage. All right, and then just wait. You can trick me if you want. I make all my teams in game. I usually stream all the team building process, so I don't do that sort of stuff. Good night, good fight. No vital spirit, please. No all right, cool. So they're big nap timed. Yeah, we can just chill here. Oof, heal plus. Wow, good play. I like that for them. This is going to be really hard. Nice. Damn, that was really bad for us. Hoping that they over-respect Dragonite here. Follow me. Over-respect Cress. Yeah, buddy, let's go. Yawn fails because they've got the follow me off. This is such a hard matchup. Helping hand, dude. They woke up, chose of violence. You close combat me, bro? Yes, no, maybe so? Oh my gosh, dude, we are out here like actually gaming really hard. This Rage Fist will absolutely one-shot any Mon that comes into contact with it. And they're scarfed. So, like, they can't hit here. They're scarfed. We know this. Got the double, bro! Yep, absolutely fine. The reason we're doing this is because Dozo can like weave in a couple protects and just elongate its presence on the board, whereas Crest just would come in and die. So what's the last Mon? Basket Legion's a problem. Torn's manageable. Armor's just manageable. We know they have Greninja, but it doesn't do anything. They're swapping out so they can then lock in here. Good play. Cool. So now they're gonna lock in like close combat, but then like if they lock in close combat, they don't beat Dozo. And if they want to relock in Rage Fist, like they still like I think that's a Grass Terror. Okay. Yep. Oof. Oh, the crit! No, dude, we were so fine, bro. Ah, we were so fine, bro. Ah, man, GG's. That was so close. That was so close. We had the game over. Yeah, that's game probably. I mean, we're gonna try and one-shot the armor. She doesn't get it though. Yeah, good play, good play. They played that really well. Nothing I can really do about it. I only went after the armors to like see if they were still weak armor, which they are. That's close. That was a really close game. Again, only losses this team I think really takes are to close team sheet, like all-ins. But, you know, it is what it is. We were able to like read a lot about their team based off like how they played it too. I wonder if the final game with Lucario. Probably like not though. Oh, give me 1 sec. Win. Oh, they share team sheets. Nice. So let's see. Citrus Zap with Roost. That's good. No fake out though. So we can technically lead Shempao to that. Landorus flying. So we're going to lead Shempao here. AV Lucario. Don't care. Sash here. Crunch. Pelipper Damprock. Gyarados Rocky Helmet. So this is definitely like a Drago Shempao lead, which is one of our lower tier. Reggie Drago Shempao, which is a B tier lead, weed 9. And then I think that you can just bring like Dragonite and Crest to be able to solidify the win in the back. So you can totally lead like Intimidator, I don't really care. But like you see that they didn't, right? And so if we take a look at like this team here, they led with Pelipper, which has Damprock. It has Wide Guard. Absolutely fine. You can totally go for that Wide Guard. Ain't no one saying you can't, but that means you're using Wide Guard and you're not using like Hurricane or Hydra or anything like that. Otherwise you die. Right? And then the Zapdos, it has Steel Terra. And like what, Hurricane Roost, like we don't really care. I'm like completely fine just going like Dragon Energy and a Protect. If you want to make the read that like goes for Wide Guard, Hurricane the Drago, ignore Shempao, like you can. But like you see how like you're using a lot of resources here. And you have to use those resources in those situations, right? So you went for Terra and you did like all that stuff. You gotta watch the video. Like I can't just go over. That took like an hour and a half to talk about. All right, so in this situation, like, yes, there's Intimidate up. We can just protect here, weave in the crest. Not really have to care that much. You can go for Thunder. It doesn't really matter. Yep, Thunder is good damage. No Para's nice. Block that up. This, here's this Rocky Helmet. Okay, so we can just bring the Shenpao back out in just a sec. I don't think there's an issue with just... They're going to go Hurricane here. Yep, it's fine. Oh, damn. Let's go. Missed the zap! No, dude, that sucks, dude! Ah, come on, dude. Never lucky, bro. That sucks. That was clutch. That was clutch. Maybe shouldn't even be taking this damage, bro. There we go. Take out the crest, please. Damn. Alright, we can still kill that guy whenever we feel like it. Lando Calrissian. If you take out the crest, I get to just repin correctly. Because we're making you reveal info here about what you want to do. Your Lando set is AV, right? Choice Scarf, sorry, Choice Scarf Lando. That's completely fine. I don't really care about that. This is good damage with crest then. So we want to see what you walk into. This is just getting you to reveal info. Rock Slide's fine. Waterfall. Oh, take that. Rocky Helmet. Alright, so you Rock Slid me. Should be game. The only way we lose is a flinch. Even a crit Rock Slide shouldn't do it. Yep. There it is. And they've tried to Thunderwave this Red Drago like 5 times, bro. And we're just like, nope, nope. How about nope, nope, nopers? It's actually still better to... Yeah, it's fine. It's game. Yep. Cool. We take those all the way to the bank. This team just works. It's a cool team. If someone made this in a rental, I'd probably use it for some online tournaments like Limitless Tours. But like you can tell, we spent 3 hours doing this. We spent 3 hours, and we have a team that like can compete at a tournament level. Is this team winning the tournament? Who knows? We actually have to play like 100 more games against like best of threes against like high level players to test if this is something even worth thinking about maybe taking to a tournament. But that being said, I might be going to Pittsburgh Regionals. I might be. I could do streams like this every single day where we like break down the more inner workings of like understanding flowcharts, assigning numbers to all these things, and then like tracking the data over like a 2 to 3 week period leading up to a regional. That's something that we definitely could do. And I haven't had to do this sort of stuff in like a really long time, but I know that these are the things that I personally need to do to understand how a team works, to understand when I'm bluffing and when I'm leaning into a certain mechanic or a certain play style, how to leverage that advantage and not going to say disrespect my opponents, but like bring the right mons for the right situations and be 100% fully okay with that. Like if the data says that they're not bringing XYZ Pokemon in game 2 and 3 after the 100 games that I tracked, after I win or lose with a certain lead, I don't have to dedicate the mental thought to not bringing that mon. I just know that it's not the right mon for this matchup. I don't have to think about it. It makes it so when you're playing those, 9 to 10 round regionals that are day 1 that are like 12 hours, it's not as mentally taxing. The game kind of just plays itself based off the data that you've taken. So hopefully you guys like this sort of stuff. If you guys like more competitive stuff like this where we break down and take a look at like, the inner workings of how like flowcharts work, let me know and we can make more. But yeah, that's pretty much it.